Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of LonsTV, the first real episode. So we're going to start to get a feel for what this show is actually going to be like. And I have no idea what the show is actually going to be like. I did try to make a YouTube channel for myself yesterday. I added a bunch of the profile stuff and all the other little SEO and tags, things that you're supposed to do. And then I went into Photoshop and I got the dimensions and I tried to make a YouTube background and it looked ridiculous. I mean, it looked ridiculously horrible. I figured out how to do some gradients and everything, so I was doing like the steps I'm supposed to do, but it was coming out looking just like horrible, and I mean like some mental patient had put it together, like a collage that Morgan Freeman would find in the serial killer's lair. And I realized how unfair it is that we have all of this technology now that lets you create art and design, but it's still closed off to people like me who don't have an artistic sensibility and who don't have a lot of hand-eye coordination. It's like I can draw freehand and it'll look like a preschooler did it. I mean, even today, I'm just horrible at it. I can't render things on the page as they look in real life. And then all these tools come out like Photoshop, and I'm like, finally, I can create a picture that looks like what it's supposed to look like. All these childhood traumas of like drawing a horse and then have to tell people like, it's a horse. Like all that was over. And then I create something on Photoshop and it looks like a 5-year-old did it. And kids can create these amazing Photoshops for contests and these great designs and everything, and I'm still, I mean, it's like a green and yellow background that says LonsTV and like cursive on top. I mean, it looks like worse than an Angel Fire homepage in like 1996. It's really bad. I might as well have just put like some little GIFs of some dancing babies on there. GIF? I've never known the answer to that. I think I hear people say it both ways. Anyway, let's move on. This is supposed to be a review show. I guess I just reviewed my own Photoshop technique, but that's not really the point. I want to talk a little bit today about the game Fable 3, which I've been playing through. I'm about 3/4 done with the game, so if you're one of those people that won't listen to a review of something unless it's absolutely done, which I agree for movies is fair, but for video games I feel like I can review it when I'm already in the midst of it. And I loved Fable 2. This one is very similar in the first half, which is great because I love Fable 2. It's a ton of fun. It's very playable. It's one of those games where you keep beating missions and you keep powering up and you just keep wanting to play to see what power you're going to get next or what land you're going to go to next. So it's very compelling. It's very addictive. I'm glad I'm unemployed. Having said that, there are a lot of issues with Fable 2 that I had that carry through into this game. The main one being there's this whole part of the game, this whole big element of the game is meeting people and having these personal relationships and dating people and marrying people and having sex with people. It's a big component of the game and it still doesn't work and makes almost no sense. You basically have to go interact with people in villages and then you have to go through this whole series of like talk to them, hug them, dance with them, make them laugh, then do a mission for them, then come back and find them, and then get them, buy them things. I mean, it's like 20 things you have to do to progress the relationship, and then you get nothing out of it. I mean, even if you convince somebody to marry you and have 4 kids with you, you put them up in a house, you're paying money to keep them there, you're going and playing the rest of the game and then coming back and visiting them, and it really doesn't seem to do much of anything for you. It's this long, convoluted process, and it's repetitive, and it gets boring after a while. And then you do it, and you realize it was just for my own, like, amusement. Like, I get that the whole game is for my amusement, but there's a beginning, middle, and end. There's, like, forward momentum. And in these relationship parts of the game, there's no forward momentum. It's like, I can marry and divorce. I could be like Bill Paxton in Big Love and marry and divorce 100 people, and it wouldn't really matter when all is said and done in the game. It's just like, it's just defeating after a while. And a lot of the missions, too, speaking of being repetitive, are just like Fable 2. Go to this land and find this buried thing and then bring it back. And it's not really a mission. It's more like an excuse to get you to travel around to a bunch of the places you've already been. So having said that, I mean, that's the sort of downside of the first half. The second half of the game, then you become the king, and the whole game is basically you're presented with these decisions. You have to make difficult kingly decisions like, Sire, should we go to this foreign land and help them fight a war? And you go yes or no. And if you go yes, everybody loves you, you're a good king, but you drain the treasury and you have no money left, you can't do anything, you can't protect people, or you don't do it and everyone hates you. So it's just like these lose-lose decisions, but it's not a game. It's more just like you're being posed political science questions and then you have to muddle through an answer. And it's really defeating as a player because there's no right answer. You're either broke or everyone hates you and you're an evil tyrant. There's no like way to win, it doesn't seem like. It's a lot like being Barack Obama. It's just you wake up every day and bust your ass and then everyone hates you or is broke anyway. So there's good and bad. I mean, overall, I would say if you're a fan of the Fable games or of this type of game, it's sort of Grand Theft Auto in like a fantasy world almost, where you're just doing missions, and the graphics are great. The combat's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a little easy. It goes pretty quickly, but, you know, overall, I think it's a good game. I'd recommend it. It's just weird to me that they had the second game to try a whole bunch of stuff out on, and then they did the third one, and they didn't fix any problems from the second one. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2, they went back and fixed almost everything I didn't like about the original while keeping all the good stuff, and it was a 200% better game. I don't think that's a possible percent, but you know what I mean. Fable 3, it just seems like they sort of ported what worked and what didn't over, and then had this one new wrinkle of you being the king on it, and then they called it a day. So that's my review of Fable 3. That's episode number 1 officially of LonsTV. Hope you dug it. I will see you back here tomorrow.